Shocker on the beats. Shocker on the beats.
I wasn't even recording. That's funny. All right, so here you have it. We've got the installation done. I'm going to show you a quick. This is pretty simple. It took about an hour. Requires you to remove 4 clips, replace it with the included screws, which are affixed to this. So as you're trying to shove the screws up into here, they're not falling down in your face, which is awesome. 4 nuts that bolt into the valance and a plastic piece that's bolted to your bumper. Down by the diff, there's 2 posts. The one thing you have to decide when you're buying this, you have to go into your car and take a look. Are the holes in that post, are the holes threaded down there or not? If they're not threaded, they give you an option to pick up the necessary rib nuts to do this. If it is threaded, like mine was, you're perfectly fine. The install took about an hour. It required a couple common tools. A number 3 Phillips head. You can also use a number 2, but it will skip on you. So I recommend using a number 3. I use this to basically kind of tighten down those posts. These to pop out the clips. And last but not least, all the nuts are 7/16. So the nuts up here are 7/16 and the nuts down back there are 7/16. Relatively simple install. Let's talk about the quality now. Alright, so today we got the ZL1 Addons diffuser. Alright, so it's important to note before you place your order for the ZL1 Addons diffuser that you determine whether your brace is threaded or not threaded. You can go underneath your car and take a look. I'll show you that now. You got to make sure if it's threaded, then they'll send you this kit here. If it is not threaded, then what they're going to do is they're going to send you a you got basically get some rib nuts and put them in there. So mine was threaded, so we're good to go with this kit here. And basically it's a 4-bolt install. You're going to remove these 4 nuts and washers. You're going to slide them through where all your factory clips were. Pop this in, bolt this down, and we're done. Hopefully this is a quick and painless install, and we'll see how we do. Okay, first step is we're going to remove these 4 nuts and washers. These are what's going to slide into the factory holes for the clips that you're going to remove in a sec. Now, the cool thing is these bolts stay in place, so whatever they've used, they turn so you could screw in from the bottom, but they actually stay in place, so as you're installing this, you know, they're firmly seated in there. Alright, so let's dump the washers out. There we go. Now, one of my concerns when originally purchasing this is the finish on these edges, and these look pretty good. They match the factory plastic. I'm going to do some close-up with the iPhone just to show you the type of finish you're going to get on this, so in case you're concerned, because when I looked at the video, that is kind of what turned me off, because the ZL1 Addons video showed a not 100% finished surface. So let's take a look at this close-up with the iPhone video as I get hit in the face with leaves. Alright, so you have the outer edge. It's a little rough, but I'll keep that in focus. But it seems to be really nicely polished on the visible surface. Again, the bevels are a little bit rough. Same with those bevels there. Let's get you in focus there. Alright, I'm sure some of this is just rubbing from packing, but that's the quality finish. The bevel's not so nice. The flat surfaces are okay. But again, all this kind of matches with the factory plastic. And as you get that approach from a few feet away, looks good. Now I want to point this out. See this right there? And you see that blood on my knuckle? That was from misuse of a razor blade when opening the box. I realized what I did, pulled the razor out, and then cut my finger. Or cut my knuckle. Great job. So this was me, this is not them. That kind of sucks. I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that. I'm going to have to sand it down and polish it. But otherwise, yeah, don't use a razor on the thick edge of the box when you open it up, because there's no packing in here. Alright, so we got the washers out. These screws are held into place nicely. Let's head onto the car to finish up the install. All right, so this is where we are now. We're underneath the car. We've got these 2 bolt holes right here, and you need to make sure these are threaded. There we go. Okay. Just needed to get a good eye on there. So if yours are not threaded, what you need to do is you need to put that information when you place your order, and basically they're going to send you out, I guess, the proper riv nuts and a set with those riv nuts so you can do your install. If you have a diff brace, I don't know how this is going to work out with the diff braces. I'm pretty sure you're probably just going to have to do a little bit of work to I don't know, get all this stuff to bolt together and come around the same height. Anybody who's got a diff brace, if you want to drop some comments below, help others out, that would be awesome. All right, so this one decided to stop halfway through, and this one I just want to make sure we got tight. If you do want to protect the metal and, you know, not chip it up, you're going to want to just use some tape on these pliers. I mean, it's in a highly not visible area of the car, so I really don't care. Nice and solid. All right, so you're going to want to pull out these 4 trim clips here, and basically I just like to get under them with a flathead, and then I use my trim removal tool to finish the job. And just be careful, because there's going to be a lot of dirt and debris coming down as you mess with this, so just don't be looking at it, you know, as you're popping these out. These are going to be set aside. You do not need these for the install. So these are just going to be put aside for, you know, put in your stock parts bin. Alright, so we're switching to iPhone video here so I could show you really close up here. So you've pulled out these clips, and these clips go through 2 pieces, the rear valence and this thick plastic piece up here. So as you run the bolts through, you're going to have to put the bolt straight through both pieces, put the nut on top, so you're going to sandwich this together, and that's going to give you your stability. Alright, so let's get started with that process. You're going to want to leave the back end disconnected for now. What you want to do is kind of angle this down. You want to get these holes straight through both layers. A lot of this is going to be done by feel. You're going to get the washer and the nut on top of that washer. I have to change my angle here. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Just want to get this down finger tight so I can carefully adjust the other ones. I'm hoping if I line up the 2 ends, the rest will fall in place. The cool thing is these screws don't seem to want to fall out, so that is kind of nice. They did a really good job with that. Okay, I got that one in. You know what? I'm probably gonna just do the middle first. I don't know why, but this side is really difficult. I got the other 3 in no problem. I think it's just the angle I'm working in, the lack of room for my fingers, all that good stuff. It's just very hard to get that nut planted on top of the screw over here. On the good side, the arrow is routed so that your screws fall straight down and out the back. So, I mean, that's a bonus. There we go. So to tighten down these nuts, we're using a 7/16 and a number 3 bit here. Get in there. So you could pry this down because we didn't do the back. You can reach in, lock the nut, and screw it in. There we go. And to be honest, I'm giving it some good force here. This is holding in place really nice. Here we go. They have a Watt lock washer included on here. Now, this is aluminum, so you don't want to go too hard. You just want to torque it down nicely. All right. So what you got is air coming this way. All this is all sealed off nicely. No more parachute in the back over here where it catches in the bumper. Air comes through. Now, whether this makes a huge effect or not, who knows? But this is pretty solid. I'm not feeling like this is going to be a problem. It's nice and it is really solid. It doesn't flex the rear bumper when you pull down on it hard. I'm thinking we've got a good kit here. So let's go around the back and check out what the butt looks like. It's a relatively simple install. Let's talk about the quality now. The quality, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It looks good. It's well done. I mean, it is rock solid, but the finish is not 100% perfect. There's some rough edges on the bevels, and there's some, rough edges on the shiny faces here. But again, I'm being hypercritical. For most people, this is going to be perfect. But unfortunately, my car gets a lot of eyeballs in very close places, and people point things out to me. We're talking about judges that criticize a 1/8 mistake in a stripe I did on the Scat Pack striping over there. So, stuff like this is going to stand out a little bit to them. But for me, for daily driving, this looks pretty good. The only thing I have a problem with is the plastics don't match. This is a dark black, where this is more of like a grayish black. So we'll see how that looks in the sun and see if it bugs me. So there's no drilling involved. There's no cutting. There's no anything. It's just uses the factory holes, puts a nice solid bolts in. This thing is rock solid. Yes, it does wibble a little bit, but when I was down below hanging on it, it held together quite well. And then we'll see how this holds up. All right, see you guys in the next one.